Oil is in a bear market at this time after repeated calls for $100 per barrel oil. Interesting that oil fell along with the rest of the stock market throughout October. It seems like a definite slowdown was present in the economy and that finally showed up in asset prices. What the future has in store remains to be seen. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at oil specifically. I had just done a video a couple days ago getting into the ins and outs of oil, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. I'm not going to cover the same issues I did previously. So let's begin. This article is out of CNBC. Oil drops for a 10th day, longest losing streak in at least 3 decades. It's falling through the floor right now. I'm going to show you a few charts on it, and I think that this could very well continue as long as there are some geopolitical issues happening that are making it seem like there's a lot of oil. Then the prices will continue to fall. But if there's tensions and there's the suggestion, even the suggestion, that there could be a disruption in any one of the supplies of oil, that could make the price go up significantly. All right, and of course the level at which it goes up all depends on the importance of that particular supply line. If something's going on with Saudi, clearly there's going to be a big issue. All right, and of course it goes on from there. Oil prices fall for a 10th consecutive session, sinking U.S. crude futures deeper into a bear market territory and wiping out the benchmark's gains for the year. It's not even just oil. Look at other commodities. Look at copper. Look around to the different stock markets. Look at banks as a whole are in a bear market today. We've seen a lot of weakness, particularly from October onward for a lot of these different benchmarks, but some of them have been going on all year long. Emerging markets have been suffering all throughout 2018. This right here is just showing us the decline that has been experienced, dropping under $60 a barrel. For the WTI, you can see the drop that has been present going throughout this line right here. If you can't see it, is November. So you can see that while stocks have been up and down throughout November, for oil has just been down. It's just been continuing that trend. Okay, now I'm going to show you another chart here. Looking at this, we are at a level we haven't seen since the middle of March. So that right there gives us this idea that there is weakness. It's present right now. It's dropping below all of its moving averages. And this is a significant drop, as I read in the previous article there. We haven't seen these kind of drops in a long time. Consecutive down days for WTI. You could see that this chart goes back to 1985, and it's the worst ever since. So it happens, certainly. We do see drops in oil, but this is in terms of consecutive days in a row. Okay, so I found it interesting. Anyway, I wanted to show that to you. This is throughout October into November. While crude oil, while pretty much everything else in the world was declining throughout October, stocks have begun to, go up and down throughout November, and energy stocks seem to have risen. But crude is still going down. Now that begs the question, will energy stocks fall or will crude rise? They've been linked together, as you can see. We'll see what happens. I'm not making any judgments based on it. I just simply think that when we have something that gets out of whack, it usually has to come back in, but the question is it going to be up or down? We'll see. Critics have accused OPEC of manipulating oil prices at the expense of big oil-consuming economies such as the U.S. All right? Now, this article is talking about Saudi It's talking about OPEC. And essentially, what we're looking at in here, if I scroll to the very top, Saudi Arabia, OPEC's anchor, ponders a future without the cartel. And it's a really long article. I'm not going to read it to you. I don't want you to fall asleep any more than you already are. This here tells us about the situation. What happens if OPEC breaks up? They're talking about it now. That's one of the Saudi officials has mentioned this. They're not suggesting that they are going to quit, that they are going to abandon it today. But they're thinking about the possibility of maybe what would happen if we break out, or if it breaks up. And that's really all that's known. There's a lot of speculation around it and things. I believe that it would be an excellent thing if they did break up. The competition is wonderful. This is a cartel. It really is. They're able to control the price, and that's the whole point. Now, they're saying they're controlling the price to the benefit of individuals. That's what they say. But it's not. It's to ensure that the price remains artificially high, most likely. And they do so at the benefit of these oil-producing nations. There's no doubt about it. But when they want to crush these nations, they could push the price down. They're very good at it, and they've been doing so for decades and decades. OPEC is a problem. Any of these supranational entities are always going to be a problem. Why wouldn't you want each country to be able to determine how much they can output? As a country, if you were sitting on billions of barrels of oil, wouldn't you want to sell as much of it as you could at whatever price you deem to be reasonable? Of course. Of course you would. But that's not allowed because there's a cartel. And you have to follow in line or you're going to be in big trouble. I just wanted to finish off with this to mention the current price as I record this. Looks like it's just under $60. For the WTI, the Brent is just under $70. If you want the current prices or if you want information about oil, then this is one site. There's several, obviously, but this is one site that I generally come back to. And that's oilprice.com. If you've ever seen it for yourself, definitely check it out. They've got a lot of information. Like I said, it's just one example of a website, but it tends to be the one that I go back to whenever I'm looking for oil-related information. So check that out, oilprice.com. So what's happening today is that we've seen the price come down. It's in a bear market, but oil, nevertheless, is such an important commodity. It's so important. We would probably, a lot of people don't want that to happen, but I'm simply stating a fact. Every single country is just importing oil like crazy, or refined petroleum products. They need it for everything, apparently. So it's right now, as of today, so critical to making everything run. And if the price gets too high, that's going to put a real damper on the economy. If it's going too cheaply, that's going to be an issue for those oil exporting nations. Okay, so just a little bit to end it off there. If you found the video informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a thumbs up, it helps to support this channel, so I do appreciate that very much. And last but not least, if you want the financial education that you were not taught in school, these two books have it all. I actually talk about oil in these books. I talk about commodities, everything from precious metals to other types of commodities. I talk about all the different asset classes, in fact, from real estate and stocks and everything and bonds. And I get into that all. You can check them out. Link is in the description of the video where you can actually flip through the book. And if you're more interested in the audiobook version, you can get that at themoneygps.com.